It's To The Point with Mike, Leo, and Vince.
Hey, you heard it. It's To The Point with Mike, Leo, and Vince.
Hey guys, I'm
let
Leo.
me shut this off here. This none of this is working right.
Hey guys, I'm Leo, your guy from To The Point podcast.
What's going on, guys?
Vince and Mike, of course. Before we get going and before we get started, guys, let me go ahead and let them know to just give us a like, give us a follow. That's all we ask this evening. If you're watching us or if you're still not tuned in yet, just make sure to give us a like, give us a follow, hit that button. That's all we ask. Doesn't cost anything. Even if you don't watch the whole show, just
Watch the whole show anyway.
watch the whole show. But even if you don't watch it, give us that like, give us that share. You know, that's all we ask. We don't ask anything.
It's bright in here, so Leo's got his glasses on.
Yeah, Mike's got all these lights on me today, and it's like, whoa, Mike, like it's so bright in here. But it is what it is. We'll let my eyes get used to it for a minute, and then I'll take my glasses off. But anyways, what's up, Vince? Mike?
Nothing.
What's
We're
good, man?
back for episode 87, and it's took a little hiatus. Vince went out of town on vacation, and I've been doing some work here in the porch, and school's back up and going.
Oh, yeah, for
you know,
sure.
we got a lot of stuff going on during the week, so it's been a little hard getting back ramped up with school. And then we had hurricane through here.
Yeah, a little
Not
storm.
really, not through here, but
Yeah, we didn't really get anything here at all.
no. But they panicked and shut down school for the day, and no after school activities and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
you know,
So we're still like one day behind, trying to catch up.
yeah,
from that
you still
one
get
day.
that storm fatigue. You know,
Oh, yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
obviously we didn't have to go through what we have in the past. We
Sure.
know exactly what the other part of our state is going through, and even worse, I guess. Vince, you said in Georgia, somewhere up in Georgia, there's flash flooding and a mudslide, right?
It's a pretty good sized mudslide. All three of us actually take separate vacations with our families and go into. It's in the same area we all typically visit, North Georgia.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Well,
if it was-
hopefully,
it might have been-
our cabin was in part of that.
It might have been DeLong. I can't remember exactly.
Dahlonega, I call it. I don't know what you call it, but some of those names up there.
Can be
Right.
interpreted multiple ways.
Yeah,
for
I like
sure.
that Blairsville. Blairsville,
I like
it's
that,
got that
yeah.
like witchy feeling.
Yeah.
And you get up in that part of northern Georgia, you almost get a little bit of that feeling you get from like old New England almost,
Yeah.
without the
yeah.
architecture. But it's just weird. It's comparable. It's a little spooky,
Yeah. I like it. I like the weather, the atmosphere, just
Yeah.
the land.
Yeah, I like
land.
the difference
Still,
in
that we still have
topography.
Oh,
There's
yeah, for
like an
sure.
up and a down.
For
It's
sure.
like
Right.
here, it's like
land. Yeah, we
straight
still,
that way or straight this way.
We still have land. I think I was talking to Vince. Was it through Vince we were talking about with you, or was it with Mike? We were talking about China, how they're like taking over.
Oh, they don't have land like we have. One thing you see when you make a drive all the way to like North Georgia, where you're driving for like 10 hours, you see all this open land that's still out there. And you think of a country like China, I can't remember exactly what their land mass is. Isn't it like only a little bit bigger than Texas? And they've got billions of people on that
One little small land.
much smaller land than what we have.
Well, they don't have any land. All it is, it's already built up.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
man.
hey,
How many
before
people
we
just-
get really going, I hate to cut you guys off, but don't forget, we're live right now on Rumble, on YouTube, Facebook, and X. I think if you are watching us on Kick, welcome to the show. We just started uploading there just to put our videos on another platform and another cloud server. But make sure you give us, like Leo said, a like and a follow.
Yeah, give us a
And
like
check
and a
out the
follow.
website In Your Ever Connections, where you can find out more about our friends and us, and also our merch to support the show. But you were talking about what did you just bring up?
The Chinese want our land.
Yes, the farmland and what
farmland.
we just watched,
Yeah.
right? The 3D meat printing.
Yeah.
I mean, what did that? Would you eat it?
No.
I mean, it's
Not
made
know-
out of vegetables.
not
Like, it's made out
knowingly.
of stuff you would eat.
Not knowingly, but if we eat
Yeah, I
stuff,
know, but
something like
it's
that
not-
and don't even know it.
Yeah, it was really weird looking. I mean,
yeah, it looked like it was like literally like Play-Doh, and then they just mushed it together once it was like
Yeah.
all the little strips and stuff like that. They just
I like my
wouldn't.
vegetables, but I don't know. I don't want them in the shape of meat.
Okay, but there you go. Look at the people that are so old, not so old, but
To me,
are
or-
old today.
To me,
Right
that
now.
reminds me of dog food.
Yeah, right now. You know, you look at them at grocery stores, and sometimes I see these old people and I look at them and I'm like, what are you guys thinking right now? Like, did you guys ever think this is what it was gonna come to? Like our
No, I
parents,
think a lot of them get emotional about it too.
you know, like
but I
our
think
like
we'll
our
see.
like our parents. You know, like I look at them.
Our parents are boomers, though.
I look at 'em, but it doesn't matter though, Mike.
Yes.
Like look at everything that they have.
It
live
affects some
their
boomers
life.
different, but the boomers who
You know,
thought
you're-
they were the wild and crazy ones look at it now and like, man, what happened? You know,
Right,
but they
because-
see how it happened because they were part of that movement.
Right.
you know?
Yeah, right. Because you're asking me right now. You know how you asked me, what do I think about it? You know, I'm going to give you my opinion right now. No, I don't like it. I told you, no, I don't like it. I wouldn't buy it. But ask me again in 40 or 50 years, that might be my only choice.
You might have a food truck that serves it.
You don't know. You know, but you're right though, Mike.
Yeah.
You don't know. I don't know. As of right now, no, I don't agree with it. But you know what? If it does come to that point, I'm going to have to make that change, and I have to agree with it. Why? Because that's all that the system has to offer me at the time.
You have to accept what the system offers you, unless you be like.
And
go
at the
off
end of the
grid.
day, it doesn't matter. They're going to win regardless. The system is
they'll
always going to
implement
win
it, just
regardless
like-
if we,
Just like the cricket, you know, that protein's is already being used in a lot of food, and you're telling me all of a sudden we're going to get upset about some other organics when they're already been poisoning us and our kids for years with all this dyes and stuff like that. The more I learn about dyes, it's like I don't want to let my kids eat
like
anything.
red dye this,
Yeah,
and yellow
and
dye
they
this,
have
and it's
certain
like,
effects, and some of
yes.
them wear off faster than the others. and
Okay,
it's
but
just like
it makes you think.
scary shit.
Not to
Why,
mention
though?
steroids and all the other preservatives and shit they put in your food that's
Why?
completely unhealthy.
I remember going back to Mexico when I was, I'm going to say maybe 10, 12 years old. My grandma didn't have a refrigerator. Like at all. Like we would go there and we would like literally, there was no refrigerator. There was no actual stove. There was no actual bathroom. There was no actual place to take a shower.
There was like a communal bathhouse.
So she had like a little bathhouse. That's at some point she had a big hole dug, right? And I guess and that's where you went and used the restroom, pee
Yeah.
and shit, And whenever it would fill up, they would come up, fill it up with whatever, and then move to another site, make another outhouse. But I mean, this thing was so huge, one person would never fill it up.
Right.
And then she had like a little small kitchen, but all it was just like, literally it was like a kitchen, and it had like a stove, but the stove was like literally like wood. It was like fire, just wood fire.
Yeah, wood
And that's
stove.
How, and
Heck
that's how she cooked. And there was no refrigerator. There was nothing. Like that's all it was. Like there was no cold food, and if there was cold food, you ate it then, and then that was it. Everything else just stayed out and
You had to
underneath
shop,
the shade.
You
and
had to shop more fresh
you-
daily.
yes, you had to shop fresh. So everything you
Yeah,
ate
or
was
cured
fresh.
meats. Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
So she would go to the store, say if she needed eggs. She didn't need eggs because she had chickens, So that's where
Yeah.
she would get her eggs from. She would have my grandma would have like a little small field, and then that's where she would grow like corn.
And there's
But it
countries,
wasn't be a lot. It
there's
would just be
countries where
enough
that's
just
still
for
a
her.
common thing.
Right. And I
It
used
could
to
be that way here
Right.
too, but
Yes,
they
it
want to
can be.
regulate that. In
No,
a lot
it-
of countries around Europe,
right.
they want to stop you from growing your own stuff.
Right. And
Right.
whenever she needed to take a bath, she had a certain bucket. There was only water would only run at a certain times of the day.
Yeah.
So she would collect water. She had a big barrel, and that's how she would collect water. At a certain time, she knew she didn't have clocks. She didn't have anything like that. She knew a certain time. Okay, she would go turn on her spigot, and it'd just be this little drip. It just
Yup.
very slowly would come in, and then she would collect her water.
That's how
Yeah.
electricity was when it went in the very beginning,
And then
especially like even across Europe in the
Certain
pre-World
times.
War One.
Right.
It was like,
and then
that.
it would cut off at a certain time. Boom, done. And she was a Coca-Cola fanatic, like addict. Like she would always have to have a Coca-Cola, even back then, you know. So she would purchase like a whole crate of Coca-Colas back then, you know. So if she wanted a cold one early in the morning, that's what she would have, a nice cold one. She would leave it outside the night before she would have it, because then
it would get cooler.
the dew or whatever from the morning, she would open it, and I would used to. I enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie. I enjoy it because to me now I look back at it and I'm like, man, she was smart. Like, and she would be like, oh, here, you want some? And you would try it, and that Coke would be ice cold too, boy. Just, but she would put it in one of those like little cups that the campers would go camping in. What are they called? Like little blue cups. They have like little spots on it.
I don't
Campers
know.
campers normally go on. It's like a tinfoil kind of.
Oh yeah, okay.
To like
yeah.
insulate it.
Yeah, and it would be so cold, man. But yeah, you know, they didn't have
Pardon of the
refrigerators.
dog.
Yeah, you know, and I think we should go back to something like that. People be like, okay, hey, like, look, this is how much land there is. Let's divide it. You get this amount, and if you want to sell it, hey, you sell it, you're out. And if you don't, then work it, and make it work, and sell chickens and do this trade, and you know, I wouldn't mind. Hell yeah. Wouldn't you, Vince?
Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna happen.
I would. I'd buy some horses.
I wish, I wish we would
chickens.
go.
Cats, I
backwards
wouldn't
in a
say
way.
cats and dogs because people probably eat them before they even get them to my house.
Yeah, I wish we would go backwards. I think I would have been happier living in a earlier time.
You know, I saw this TikToker the other day. He says he goes back to time.
He goes back in time.
Yeah, or he could go back to time like a time traveler.
Yeah. You
And
know,
I was-
some people claim.
And I was like, "You are so full of shit." He's like, "Oh, I'm at a Sears.
What's
There's
up,
no
Caesar?
Sears. There's no Sears around, and this and this and that." And I'm like, and I was thinking, I was like, "There's a Sears right here where I live.
Not
And-
anymore.
The mall."
Oh, it's
No.
been gone for a while.
Yes, it really.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
couple years now.
No way.
Yeah.
I think Sears might actually be completely gone.
Yeah, oh,
now.
yeah, they're gone.
Like,
I don't even
they're-
think they have the auto
he
center.
traveled
anymore.
back in time, Leo.
No, it seemed like he was at a Sears. It's pretty odd.
Maybe there's one or two still around. I'm pretty sure the company went completely under, but I don't know.
But yeah.
for sure.
Well, he said he was at a Sears. He claims he was at a Sears back in 1979 or back in 1997, I think it's on. Think about it, man. Like, you guys had fun growing up, though?
Yeah.
Do you guys think?
If I knew what I
would
knew
ever go
now,
back
I'd have
to-
more fun.
Do you guys think it would ever go back to what it was?
No, never.
No.
I mean, maybe in a setting that, apocalyptic, where communities all of a sudden found themselves a whole lot smaller.
So then how do we think that gas is going to come back down?
Well,
Opening
it goes
the-
up and down, and it all depends on what they do with
Like
the
opening
supply.
our opening our pipeline would make it go
Yeah.
down.
So when they say
tremendously.
opening up the pipeline, Vince, what
drilling
do they
our
mean?
own oil,
Literally
right here in our
opening up.
country.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally providing.
Where is this pipeline at?
They're all over the globe,
Yeah.
but it's
Not-
literally supplying
Not just
countries
us. We're
with
selling
easier
it.
access to it.
We're making we can sell it and make money off of it too.
Who would
We can
sell it to?
produce more than we can consume.
Who do we sell it
Yeah,
to?
we at one point we exported
Yeah,
oil.
Yeah.
But
Is
Democrats
it
and-
oil because it's in our own land? Is that
Yeah.
why we claim it that it's
Yeah.
ours?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We
If you
drill,
drill
for
it
it
on your land.
It's ours.
Like where do they drill this?
North Dakota supposedly has more oil underneath it than all of Saudi Arabia, the Saudi Arabian Peninsula.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's certain
How do they
areas
know
of the
this?
states because they do scientific research and like
sonar.
yeah, I'm
some
not a
sort of-
geologist. I ain't gonna pretend
Yeah,
to be
I don't.
freaking smart.
I don't know what
But
kind
they
of gnar
they got
use,
scientists
but
that
they
can
got
find
something.
it. Yeah.
Okay, so now let me ask you this, right? We're sucking all this thing. Don't you think we're creating a sinkhole for this Earth?
So the Earth, they've proven. Some people don't believe it. They argue about it, but they've proven that our Earth is producing it.
It is. Well, it's not fossil fuel, obviously, because that's what they claim oil was. You know, it was fossil fuel. So what is fossil fuel? It's literally broken down fossils like animals.
Right.
The bullshit.
How is that? How is that possible?
Right. It's not. It's
So you're
it's
telling
a
me that even
product of the planet.
even a dead person could be a fossil fuel.
Just like how your skin,
Eventually, yeah,
your
yeah.
skin
I mean, you break
produces,
down
you know,
and-
more, an oil. You know, the
Right.
Earth is producing it too.
That means centuries and centuries and centuries of life form being populated and wiped out and populated and wiped out or just
So
lived
how
and
long-
died and lived and died. Like, no way, it's not possible.
So how long have we've been drilling into this
Oh,
Earth?
I don't know.
If
but
you guys could
I
put a
couldn't-
number to it.
Oh,
I don't know, but it goes way back.
hundreds of years.
It goes back to the Flaglers and Rockefellers and the richest
Right.
men in the world back in the 1800s, you
Yeah.
know, and earlier than that, I believe. Yeah.
Who was the richest men back then?
Or
what years were these?
Rockefeller was a big.
They were one of the
um,
biggest.
J.D. Rockefeller was.
Is
I
that w-
think, or
is
the
that-
whole Rockefeller family was very.
Is that
wealthy.
why they have like a certain thing in New York City
Yes.
for them and stuff
Yes.
like that?
Yep.
You know what?
And Flagler, you see Flagler's name all along Florida. He was involved with that United Oil or American Oil, and with the Rockefellers. They were all like the elite. They were a group of elite. He went this way, they all went that way, but they all still had, you know, interest in this oil business, you know, in
Right.
this oil company. So
But see how see that's my thing. Like, why doesn't the government look back at it and study, do what I do? You know, go look in videos and if you don't like it, then hey, you don't.
what
like
is it you
go-
want them to study?
Just what was working back then.
Well, I mean, it's not a
so
matter of
much-
what was
I
working.
I
it was
understand
different lifestyle. I mean, there was slavery.
I understand
yeah,
not,
so
not
much
everything is
changes.
gonna work
Yeah.
the way it used to work, but get some ideas. You know, like okay, this is
Yeah.
what this was going. Okay, what was working at the time? What were we going through at the time? What was happening at the time? What was the current news going on at the time? You know, we are the current news right now. You know, that's why we put out there so that people could hear us about what's going on right now at the time. You know, and it's just not bad, man.
No, you're good. You're good, man. Yeah, I get you. You're right. And that's why we do what we do. You got to control the narrative, not alter it. You just speak your truth. And I mean, I hate that term. And you know, I've gone on about this term. You know, everybody can have their truth. You know, okay, whatever. But there's only one truth, and there's anything other than truth is a lie or
Bullshit.
false.
Yeah.
So, you know, opinion is different, passion is different, you know, emotions affect everything differently. But, you know, we're speaking our opinion, emotions
for
are playing
sure.
into it. We're not claiming to be non-biased or anything like that, but we see it, you know, we're definitely partisan because we see the truth, you know. And if we get out there and we can get somebody else to see it or listen or hang out or whatever, you know, so be it. But and that's what our friends do in this business too, like TGI Now. you
No,
know,
yeah,
and,
I agree. I'm just saying, like,
two guys, one coup.
right,
and-
I'm just saying, you know, like it's just like the politics nowadays. It's just like it literally is just so divided when they could both just work together.
do you think it'll ever be better? Do you think it'll ever be better?
No,
I know what it's got to come to, but
it's got to get worse
yeah.
first. Unfortunately,
You know what, Vince? Let me answer Mike's question.
Amanda's asking actually. Hold on. What time period would you want to go back to? This is Amanda. We haven't seen you around in a while, Amanda. But
I'd probably say the maybe like around the 2000s.
Now to go back to what?
To what you're to back.
What
to
are we going back?
You going
to?
back to any time? Or are you talking about going back to any time that you were around?
No, just about what was going on at the world. Like, what was your best time? You know, what time could you go back? Was the world, like, what was going on at the world at the time? You know, like, what was the best time?
The
Like
best time to live?
Yeah,
you mean?
like
in your lifetime, or
Yeah,
just,
Or where
like
do you think you would have
politic-wise.
fit in?
Yeah,
kinda
just
thing.
like politic wise, like
Or-
what was the best time? Like what was working back then that's not working now?
well,
Okay, we know
it's
we know-
hard because
okay, we know the gas was going on, you know, like we know the Bushes had something going on with
there you
somebody
go.
overseas. You know?
yes,
like was that a
major,
good like was that a good year? What was going on at that time?
No, I mean, like, knowing what I know now, if I went back then to then, it would be to do what we're doing now, and that's to
Like,
raise
to be-
alarm to what we know now,
What
because
knew
we were
was
sold a lie
coming.
back then.
Right. Like, to be honest, that's as far as presidents that I could go far that I can remember.
Yeah, so when I was born, I think it was Carter was leaving, Reagan was coming in, I believe. And I can remember Bush running after Reagan, like 8 years later.
How
You know,
far
I was-
can you remember as like as
I
the
can
president?
remember the end of Reagan's term, I believe.
I can remember. I could
Or
as
and
far
then
as I
Bush
could
That's about
coming
what I-
in.
as far as I could go. I could go as Bush. Is the name that I
Which
could,
one?
First Bush. Or are you talking about the second?
He's
Bush?
probably talking about the second.
I'm probably
Yeah.
talking about the second. Yes,
9/11 Bush.
I'm probably gonna go
Before
yes.
him was Clinton. No.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Clinton. Take that back. I'm gonna go with Clinton. That's as
'Cause
far
it
as
was
I can-
Clinton,
That's
Bush,
as far as I can
It
remember.
was Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama,
I could go as far as Clinton.
fuckface,
I could go as
and-
Clinton.
Sloppy Joe. Or
I
I
could-
got him backwards.
I could go as far as Clinton. That's it.
Yeah. I can remember voting for Bush Senior in high school. It was like, or
Oh,
not
yeah?
high school, junior high.
How was
junior
it
high.
voting
It
back
was,
then?
Well,
How-
it was a mock because you weren't old enough to vote.
Right.
But they set it up in the schools probably because, now that I think about it, we probably did pull the freaking lever because they used the schools for voting precincts after school hours on election
Yeah,
day.
and what I didn't like what they did
Or
is
on election day. You
they
know,
had
so-
us register. They had us pick a party and register, and the teacher was biased.
Yeah, that happens.
So I mean,
So
that's what
depending
I didn't-
on where you
like,
grew up.
I hope
you
they
know.
don't still have them register while they're in school.
Oh, they
for-
do.
Oh, they had us. I mean, I had to register for the draft. Fuck the vote. I
I,
had to register.
I
the draft.
registered it when I was in high
Yeah.
school,
Now it's a question of do we
and I put
make
it.
the women do it?
And whenever I registered, I didn't pick a party. I had always been.
Independent? Yeah,
Independent.
no, not me.
Until just recently.
I kind of saw it early on with the Democrats. The Republicans, I still had hope for. 9/11 gave me some hope, but I never was a fan of the Patriot Act. And the older I get, the more bitter I get about it. I hold it against Bush Jr. And I'm not saying he had ill intentions, but there's conspiracy behind him too. But everybody he surrounded himself with is highly suspicious. You know,
I
Yeah, like,
remember
that's what I'm
Dick
saying.
Cheney,
I remember
fucking
we were-
Condoleezza, like all these major players, like
We were-
deep state establishment.
We were talking about him the other day, and you were saying what he could do to kind of come out and at least give
yeah, I think he
himself a
could
little
save
bit
face.
of dignity.
Yeah, get the family name back. I don't know. A lot of people say no, it won't. Nothing
Who?
he can do. Bush,
Oh,
about the last,
who
but yeah,
Backing Trump.
about who he's gonna
and he should come out.
who
and
he,
should
would
frickin-
endorse.
He should come out and freaking
You know
fully
what?
support the Republican
And you know
nominee.
what? To me,
He should be MAGA. He should get on the fucking MAGA train. Come on.
to me, it's just like, what are you hiding? What are you scared of?
Well, they try to be presidents for all of time. There was supposed to be a certain level of dignity and integrity that when you left office, you left office. You left the spotlight. You didn't interfere. You didn't offer your opinion.
You didn't pick
You
a
worked
party.
at your library. You might have done some speeches. You might have done some other shit, but you never got political again. You never talked about your successor or anything like that. And that kind of changed with Obama and Bush, and then, obviously Trump comes in like a wrecking ball, and he ain't afraid. He ain't one of them, and it was time for like a reset. Hillary Clinton with the reset button in Russia. Well, we needed it in Washington, and that's what Trump was. But I think it hit him. It sideswiped him.
But
He wasn't supposed to be president,
right.
and now they're
They didn't think
dying
they didn't think he had
to
a
keep him
chance
from being president
be-
again.
But
Hillary.
you know what, Vince? You know what irritates me too. Okay, if presidents need to be reelected, and new presidential or new everything every 4 years, right?
Right.
Why doesn't anybody else underneath them keep the job
Or-
as long as they can?
They still have to be reelected.
Okay, but they're
But-
still the fuck up
but
of
they-
the first
yeah,
problem in the
but a
beginning.
president-
So why leave them there?
So,
Why
but a
be a
president can only
Kamala?
get 2 terms, whereas they can get as many terms as they want. That's the difference.
Okay, but Vince,
And no,
They
I
are
agree.
the
They should
problem.
only still be allowed 2 terms.
Vince, they just need to go, man. They need to get out of there. They've been there for too many years. They need to go. You're out. I don't need you. What do I need you here for?
You know the other thing
You're
they
just
should
in
do?
my way. You're using taxpayers' money is what
The
they're
other-
doing.
The other thing they should
Get
do
out of
when
there.
you try to pass a bill is only for one specific agenda, one thing, single item agenda. Because what they do is they use this one item that they think people are going to get behind, and behind the scenes they've got 100 other thing going on, probably 1,000 other things going on, where money's sliding through the tracks. Our taxpayer money is going places that most of us didn't even realize it was going, because we didn't vote for that. They voted for this one thing that caught their eye, but they sneak all the others in. You should. They need to pass a bill. You should only be able to have one thing on the agenda when you're trying to do that,
Oh man,
because they're tricking people into so much bullshit.
Yeah, for sure. And nowadays people don't know how to read because they have AI. They have everything else that does it for them. Apple does it for you. Everybody does it for you. You know?
And
All you gotta do is just speak to text, and it's gonna do it
the
for you.
media can
If you
clearly
don't
be
know,
bought.
just ask.
The
Yeah,
media can
you're
be
right.
bought, so can AI. It's already bought.
Just stupid, man. This world is just so stupid. Stupid.
Media,
Stupid.
like you said, Vince,
just
the
had-
media can be bought.
They had that one thing I saw. Amazon Alexa had asked who the candidate or something about the Republican would you give advice about the Republican, and it refused to talk about the Republican nominee, but when asked about Kamala, it gave this long and thing about how great she is and you should vote for her. They later fixed that.
Oh, yes.
They
Yes.
later
Did they
quickly
fix it?
fixed it.
Yeah,
They said they
yeah,
did.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, they
Um,
just need to work something out where they say, "Hey, listen, you know what? As a matter of fact, you know what they need to do?
What is that?
This is what they need to do." Oh boy, they'd be so mad. You know. Say Trump wins, right? He wouldn't like it either, but it is what it is. Fuck it. This is what you got to work with, and you got to fucking train it how you would train a horse. You know, just. You know how they
Okay.
tie the horses down and they just hit it until they train the horse. Anyways, say Trump wins, but then his his VP would have to be the candidate that lost.
Wait, so what are you saying? The VP has to be the next presidential candidate? Is that
Yes.
the next
Pretty
go
much.
around?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and that's usually what it's supposed to be. But Kamala was the exception. Because all she was a what do you call those pigs?
I know, but what I'm
DEI
saying,
pig.
I know, but what I'm saying is,
Ooh.
but what I'm saying is, if Trump wins,
Did we just get
okay.
kicked off?
No, I don't know. I'm going to check.
I'm saying
said
if Trump
DEI.
wins, I'm
Oops.
just saying if Trump wins, he'll be the president, and then the vice president, or the
Yes.
They
Did
later
they
quickly
fix it?
fixed it.
Go
and,
ahead.
and
Go
then the
ahead.
vice
Go
the
ahead.
the
Okay.
vice president would be Kamala, and then if Kamala wins, she would be the president, and then the vice president would be Trump. That way, they have to work together and figure shit out together and come to an agreement and come to the middle.
Okay, so you're saying if Trump's VP were to win, then
So if Trump would win, his VP would
Would
be
be-
Kamala.
Oh, so he drops his VP, and if Trump won,
No, he wouldn't pick a VP.
So what? No, I'm
So
not
Kam-
paying attention.
so
but you're starting to
Kamala,
get
so
get
the
my
loser
attention.
is automatically the
Yes.
vice president.
Oh,
Well, I don't like that.
No.
No,
Now that
sorry,
could
we all don't
happen.
like
No,
Now
but that's what I'm
listen.
just
But I
saying.
mean-
Now
I'm just
listen.
saying. I'm just saying.
You
because,
know how you can see that?
Okay,
You know how you can see that?
I'm just saying
Is
because
if
then,
there's a split tie. Then the House will elect the president and the Senate will elect the vice president. And in that case, you will have a President Donald Trump and a Vice President Kamala Harris. That's the only way you'll see that.
But you know what I
America.
say that? You know why I say that though, Vince? Is because maybe the other party would be smarter and put somebody else smarter up there. I said what I said.
No, because then you create. I don't like that. You have
Because
systems
then
like
way They
that.
wouldn't have to, they wouldn't have picked Kamala.
Yeah,
Mike.
but you have
They'll
some
pick somebody
systems
smarter up there to
in
put up
Europe
there.
are like that with the president and a prime minister, and there's a lot of political turmoil that goes back. That's more deeply rooted than ours, even though we think ours is.
I
pretty
still don't
corrupt,
think it
but-
would end up working. They'll still select somebody that can be bought. Because right now the Democratic
Plug, they're
body is
plugged.
bought.
So, okay, but
They
that's
don't
what I'm
have
saying.
an Obama.
My opinion,
Kamala
other countries
is
like
not
China
an
are
Obama.
running the Democratic Party right now.
It's all fake. Kamala, you know who Obama came in. He was a smooth talker, and even though some of people didn't even like his politics, they were willing to vote for him, give him a chance.
But you know what?
And
Obama talks just the
Kamala
same
ain't
way
like
as
that.
Trump talks.
He had that. He could read the. And St. Clinton had the same.
Obama was a good
effect, too, though.
speaker.
Clinton
There
was a
ain't
good
no doubt he
speaker,
was
too.
a good speaker.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Clinton
that's what
was
I'm
a
saying.
good speaker,
and that's
too.
what I'm saying. He was speaking the same thing. If you go back and listen to his speeches, he was speaking the same thing that Trump is speaking, just in a softer tone.
I don't know. I don't.
Vince, his
no.
tone was softer, Vince.
No.
Go
I mean,
back
this-
and listen to
this
it. Vince.
wasn't when he
it
was-
just softer.
This wasn't
and
when he
would
was
ease his
president,
way
but I can
in.
tell you a time when I heard him right out of his mouth, long before AI ever existed, that the American people are too stupid to make
He's
their own
wired.
decisions, and the government should make all decisions for the American people. Before he was president, he is on video saying that
What did he say?
we're too dumb to make decisions.
Who said that?
Obama, before he was president. That we're too stupid to make our own decisions, that the government should control all your money and control everything that you do, make your decisions for you. In other words, they just want your money and to use you in the system that they decide for you.
Amen.
And also with you.
And also with you.
Anyways.
Nah, but it's true though, man. Like it's just they want the government wants to rule you one way or another. They want to get you. They want to come after you. They don't want you to. They don't want you to succeed. They don't want this to be broken. They don't want the code to be broken. Is what they want.
Oh, is that a Matrix reference?
No, I'm just saying there is a code, man.
There's some
All these
seriousness
people
to
have
the
a code,
Matrix.
man.
I mean, obviously it's not like that, but I mean, it's a system.
And it's a code. And every time something that code is broken or something happens, a new agency is automatically created.
Speaking of which, that's one of my favorite things that if Trump gets back in office, I expect him to do.
What's that?
Eliminate a lot of our government agencies.
Yes, for what? What do we need you for? What do we need you for? What do we need you for?
I agree. Department of Education. There's some talk about Tiffany Justice is hoping to get a role in the next administration. She's a co-founder of Moms for Liberty. She's local to us. I don't know. She's a great woman. But they need somebody to go in the Department of Education to chop it up and reduce it to what it's supposed to be. And there's not even supposed to be a federal Department of Education. It's supposed to be all at state level. They keep it to the minimum, like for support, but get rid of everything about it. There should be no federal Department of Education.
Mike, you know what my first grader came
And it's a
home?
cabinet level meeting, by the way.
You know what my first grader came home with
What's that?
and told me that they were learning about?
What's that?
Is I can't even pronounce it. It's how your body works, like your muscles and your what is it called?
Anatomy?
Well, yeah, I know that's called anatomy, but like how your muscles and all your veins.
It's not that little game where if you hit the sides it
No, no,
vibrates.
no, 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 no. Like how like all that works, you know, like how your
Right.
muscles work, whatever.
Your nervous system.
Yes, that's what.
Like a map of it.
Yes, that's what they're learning. That's the nervous system.
That's
of the
pretty
body.
cool, actually.
This is a
Yeah.
first grader, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 years old.
Yeah, I don't think I remember learning that when I was 6 years old.
I remember learning that when I was like in middle school.
6 years old, I think we still had the alphabet going around the room.
Yes, we did. We did. No, you're
Yeah.
not convinced, but we
Right.
did, man.
Yeah, but for some reason,
What happened?
American children are still
What happened?
In
not the top of the
low
bracket.
They're in the low
Right.
percentile, actually.
Why?
I don't know.
They teach them, in a lot of ways, they teach them. I think they lose it when they get a little bit further along. Like, they don't continue to teach them the right things.
It's a system, Vince.
Well,
It's
yeah,
the
they don't-
system, man. Look, they teach them to go to school. You pack your lunch. You go to school. Either you catch a bus to go either to school or your parent is your Uber.
The school,
Think about it, Vince. I'm going to describe it. Or your parent is your Uber, right? So you grow up, and in life, this is all you know, right? This is all you know. Literally, this is
being
all you
driven
know.
to school.
Being driven to school or being bused to school. Okay?
You're learning the system, the first stage.
At first stage, okay? And you're taken to a building, okay? That you have to, nowadays, they have a badge. It literally is a badge. Like, you're working
Yep.
for a company.
The
or,
kids.
or
yes.
you are.
You
or
talking
you-
about the kids?
Yes.
Yes.
Or you are at a prison.
Yeah.
All right? Literally, this is what it looks like, Vince, right? And you walk in, and then this is what it is. There's a bell. Ding! And there's somebody in the announcement saying what your next move is going to be. So either that sounds like you're in a corporate office and you need to get hustling and moving to get to your work, or either you're in a prison or in a jailhouse or whatever, and this is how it's being run, and they're telling you what to do. Either or, right? So they're injecting all this stuff as a kid, and in middle school, and in high school, and then they still want you to keep injecting it more to go to college, so that now they can put you in debt. Now they even got you more by the balls. That's why Trump said, "Grab her by the cat."
Yeah.
You know?
Thank you. We are live on Facebook and YouTube, by the way. But I encourage you to jump over to Rumble, follow us on Rumble and X.
We might get thrown in the lawsuit now. Leo.
Yeah, we're on Kick,
But
and
that's
we're
okay, but-
definitely we're on Kick, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcast, we're on all that. But make sure you follow us on Rumble. Also, even if you don't use the app, it's free. If you need a link, I can give you a referral link. It doesn't cost me or you anything. It's totally free. And but follow us on those channels because
Right.
you never know. YouTube can wipe out a whole channel
Oh yeah, for sure.
without any strikes on it or anything. I've seen them do it. To channels that were monetized, and we're not monetized. So if it happens on us,
I've
well, we're not ever going to be monetized on YouTube anyway.
I've
so.
seen channels with over 10 million viewers just get shut down.
Yeah, there was a few recently too, and they had to do with media companies and stuff like that, and they were reporters. And speaking of which, Infowars, Alex Jones has to shut down all operations and sell all assets and shut down his company based on the lawsuits they sued him for after the Sandy Hook school shooting. He had read from a claim that it was fake. And
That the shooting was fake.
yes, that the casualties were fake. It was staged, and the families sued the shit out of him, like $1 billion. Like, it was crazy. You never have it. So he was hoping to be able to keep InfoWars afloat and keep posting videos to Rumble, but it's not going to happen.
I mean,
So
where's your freedom of speech there?
right there, imagine that they sued him out of freedom of speech. We got a constitution.
I mean,
on the table right over there too.
I might not
It's the
disagree.
First Amendment in
It
there.
could have been a shitty thing to say, but you still have the right to say it.
Right, and he's apologized for it, and he's tried to make amends, but it's very political and a high-strung atmosphere. But maybe he'll be around, but then other channels have to worry about getting shut down or demonetized if they have Alex Jones on. What's going on here?
No, I agree.
I want to move on. There's a couple stories.
Yeah, what you got?
The Pope was in Belgium, and they have a prime minister and a king. And usually when the Pope goes to a nation, he'll visit the highest ranking. So in this case, it would be the king. But I guess in Canada, he met with Trudeau, who's the president, and then the foreign minister, which is like, whatever, I don't know. So they made the exception this time too. Well, apparently both of these, the king and the prime minister, just bombasted the Pope and the public speeches about the cover up for child abuse and stuff like that. And it was interesting to see. And the Pope just takes it and apologizes for it. I mean, what can he do?
Yeah.
But some don't really have much faith in this Pope. I hate to say it like that, no pun intended. But for real, some don't think he's legitimate.
Right.
I'm not very Catholic, so I don't really want to speak on it. But
What's his name?
Francis. This one is Francis. And I grew up on the outside, like just on the outskirts of being raised Catholic. We were raised Catholic.
What was a pope that was around when you were Catholic? Right?
John Paul.
John Paul.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
Same here.
and there's controversy behind him too. There's always controversy behind people of power. Especially
People
that.
with power.
That's the
people
oldest.
With just,
The oldest
One of the-
monarchy
yes.
in the world is
Child abuse.
the Vatican City,
Yeah.
and now they're facing a lot of backlash from covering up all the child abuse, and it was like worldwide. It was just it was rampant. I guess the devil's in the church. What can I say? It's not just a church though. It happened everywhere, but I thought that was interesting. Also, we had a visitor here in the United States today and yesterday. Maybe it was Vladimir Zelensky, from the president of Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it was funny because I had just read how President Biden just okayed another $8 billion to help support the war in Ukraine. And this
You know why he's doing it, right?
Why? What's your opinion on it?
My opinion is he's just trying to leave office because they're going to lose, leave it in the worst situation ever, so that it takes Trump longer than 4 years to fix it. But they don't know who they're fucking with.
Well, I think I'm a little more cynical, actually. I think it's to force us into another war, another global conflict. Now, I don't know if I would go as far to say
that too,
so they can suspend elections and take us
too.
into another level.
No, I agree.
But,
that too. Yeah, for sure.
I think it's all part of the plan. Like I say, I believe the Democratic Party being run by mainly Chinese, other foreign interests.
Well, they're definitely
And
compromised.
Not only do they want our land because they need our farmland and all that, but I believe they're not only trying to have World War III, but they want us to have a civil war going on at the same time to weaken us the most.
Oh, for sure.
If-
Conflict
if-
at home.
If
well,
we're at civil war and
Yeah.
World War III breaks out, be prepared to be taken over by China.
Well, either that. I don't
It's
know if
not-
China would, but I think it would definitely thrust us into the next phase after what comes after
I'm not saying
whatever comes after
I'm not
republics
saying
and
we're going to
democracies.
become part of China, but
Yeah.
we're going to be run like China.
Yeah,
we're going to be part
it'll
of their
definitely
system.
It'll be a more controlled environment society, like a
So, a
communist China.
socialist, communist
Socialist, yeah.
party.
So while I was reading that, Zelensky was here meeting with Kamala. He had a meeting with Kamala, and they had they do their press conferences, whatever. And then today I saw he met with Trump. And a lot of people are saying, oh, Zelensky likes Kamala. He's going with Kamala. And he's probably better off with Kamala. But at the same time, I think if he's a smart man and he sees any way out of this, if he wants to die an old man, he should understand his best bet is with Trump. Not that he has any frickin' say in it anyways, but I think I can read that. Even though he's some gay activist, I don't know what the hell he is, but supposedly people think he was planted by the CIA, installed to be the president of Ukraine. He's got a Jewish background. He was an actor. Some say he's gay. Meanwhile, Ukraine is notorious for Nazis. Not necessarily your German Nazis, but definitely your Semitic or anti-Semitic nationalist type parties. There's definitely some hard right parties. I watched a little bit of a movie recently called Ukraine on Fire. You can rent it on Amazon Prime, but it like goes into detail how screwed up it was in the Ukraine. Not that I'm wishing for their downfall, but well, matter of fact, most people don't even know where Ukraine is. Do you know where Ukraine is?
No.
No. Let me see if this works. Hold on. Here you can see we're leaving
To the
Florida,
west,
right?
west of Russia, I believe.
We're leaving
right?
Florida. Here we go. There's Italy right there. There's Ukraine. There's Ukraine right over here. See it? This
And then-
glob right here. And then
then
everything else you see to the right from here over is frickin' Russia, except for down here.
And that used to be Russia.
All this is Russia.
Ukraine used to be
Right.
Russia. Part of Russia.
Right.
Oh,
and
Ukraine
you can
used to
see
be Russia?
Yeah. That's why
So how
right,
big
you
is
see
Russia?
this is Russia right here.
Russia has the most land.
See it? Over here is Alaska. To the right of your screen, you can't see
Right.
it, but Alaska is like just out of screen.
But what sucks for Russia is most of their land is useless.
Right. All this.
Their-
So now
some of their best land was Ukraine.
So now you tell me this. You can't do it on this screen, but you pull up, you search for Ukraine, right? And you know how the map shows you borders and countries and stuff like that? It'll show you Ukraine when you zoom into Ukraine right there on the bottom left, but it won't show you Russia. It won't show you the word Russia until you zoom out to here. You see where it's got the word Russia?
Right.
That is like Siberia. Not much going on up there at all. Maybe some polar bears. It might even be too fucking cold for that. But Moscow is right over here by Ukraine. Not far from Ukraine. St. Petersburg is in the same vicinity. It's all over on the western side of Russia. But all that's Russia, even down into this peninsula right here. And now they've got this far right supported country over here that is inspiring terrorist activity, just like Chechnya did back in the 80s and 90s and probably early 2000s for Russia, which was majority Muslim. But Russia's got a lot to take on, and you're right, Vince. Most of everything you see on screen at one point was Russia. All on the bottom, down up until about, I think, Iraq. Everything above Iraq and China and Mongolia was all
Where's China?
Soviet Union. China's on the bottom right above
I
To the
see it.
Point podcast. This is the majority of Europe. You're seeing all of Eastern Europe.
Yep.
The majority of like Italy. You don't see France and Spain over there, but you see, in Great Britain, it's off to the side. I thought there was another map, but yeah. Yeah, most people
And
don't
who-
even know where this fucking place is,
who
but we
runs-
just gave
who-
them $8 billion. Another $8 billion.
Who runs Russia?
Putin.
Putin.
Vladimir Putin.
Okay. So, and we gave money to who?
We're giving money to Zelensky, who's the president of Ukraine,
For what?
to fight Russia.
Why?
Well, I mean, most
Why does
people,
Russia
most
want
people will
Ukraine?
say,
Or what's their war?
well,
about?
a lot of the territory was Russian territory.
So Russia wants that land back.
Not so much their land back, but there was terrorist activity back and forth over the border. There's a large section of Ukraine who identify as Russians who are being suppressed by the Nazi fascists that are in the country. There's ethnic conflict there.
Right.
There's
then-
and not just territorial, but ethnic conflict.
And then there's also a big wheat industry that they lost a big
Yeah,
chunk
so
of.
Ukraine
So
provides
there's
a lot
there's money
of farm
interest.
product to Europe. Yeah. There's a lot of money in Ukraine, and it's a funnel. It's a money laundering. You know, people
So
think
that's
Swiss
why
bank
Ro-
accounts or Caribbean offshore bank account. No.
So that's why
Ukraine.
Russia wants it.
Well, they say they're protecting the Russians, the people being suppressed. They're fighting Nazis still. And it's Russia. Nazis are Russians' arch nemesis. And the goal after World War II was to eliminate all Nazis. So Putin, historically and integral, feels he's fighting this crusade to eliminate these Nazis.
He's saying
fucking-
he's
And they're
finished.
real. They're
he's
real.
finished-
There's Nazis
right,
out there.
He's finishing. His claims is he's finishing a war that never got finished.
Right. So just like
Putin
now
says this.
keep in mind.
That's how he feels.
Now,
about
quick
it,
history
yeah.
lesson: World War One, you had Germany. And it was a world war. You had an Axis and a Allied, and they fought each other. And after that, they carved up a lot of Europe, and Germany had lost a lot. They had to pay reparations. They were totally sent into poverty, turmoil. The country couldn't pay back. They were punished because they lost. They lost the war, you know,
Right.
and so that's what bred the nationalist Adolf Hitler. And he was extreme. He was far right, not far right like a Republican, but far right racially, ethnically, politically, and that's what bred the Nazi movement, the fascists, and that's what he came to power because he played on the emotions. That's the kind of shit you're going to see here in the United States. But besides that, a lot of Nazis, that movement was around Europe, that whole for centuries. You know, like nationalist type attitude. It's your land, your country. You know, Mother Russia. Or Mother, Father Ukraine, whatever the hell they call it. But it's a shit show, you know. We just keep sending more money. We're not even on camera. I still have it here on Ukraine, but
What's the money for?
to I guess more ammunitions. They showed Zelensky in a munitions factory in Pennsylvania with the governor. Like, and the governor signing munitions that we're gonna give, that are gonna end up getting shipped to Ukraine, and they're gonna put in a frickin' artillery machine and fucking try and kill Russians with it, with our
See,
stuff. But
but
we're not fighting the Russians.
But
They
see,
are.
but see, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Is
Our money's fighting them.
that's what I'm saying. They know they have this presidential loss, so they're trying to get this man into so much shit that when he gets back in there and he pulls out and says, "This is it, no more money," it's gonna make him look bad.
Yeah. And don't forget that $8
Is
billion
where I'm going.
dollars.
Is what I'm saying.
All $8 billion of that's not going where they just said it's going. Some of it is, but some of it's going in pockets of.
Somebody's going. It's going up somebody's
Well,
nose. Is what it's.
Some
going.
of it's going where it's going into crooked people. Pocket.
Yeah, it's
not
probably
all-
going to end up in a Biden bank account.
Yeah, good chunk of it.
But that's
But
what I'm
it's
saying. But they're not going
it's
to
the
tell you
most
that.
crooked nation on the planet at the
Yeah,
moment.
both sides too, though. Like just both sides. It's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
so-
Russians know better.
Yeah, man. Like, come on, man.
But there's a sense of pride. I can't knock Russia so much for having a national pride, but still, Russia. We think of Russia. We think of Vladimir Putin, the white Russian, the mean Russian guy.
Right.
Russia's pretty diverse. You saw how big it is.
Yeah.
They've got an Asian population. Like they have half of Asia, just
Yeah.
because the lines there above China and Mongolia, and Japan and all that. They have a lot of Asian territory, and same with the East. They have a lot of Middle Eastern territory, like Chechnya, Kazakhstan. Like that's not part of Russia anymore, but it was part of the Soviet Union. So, Russia is not much different than the United States, except the ideology.
Right.
The system and their history definitely is a lot different. But what else do I have? I heard a story, but I couldn't find it. I think it was on Entertainment. I don't know which Entertainment because I couldn't find the right website. But they intercepted some surface-to-air missiles coming across the border, the southern border. Supposedly, this is all in some information that was released, not by our government. I don't think. I can't confirm the story because I couldn't pull it up.
Probably the
But
cartel.
it was a Pakistani national who had a family in Pakistan and in some other Middle Eastern country. It was their communications is what it was that got them busted, I believe. And the goal was, they never said a name, but the mission was to eliminate a political head in the United States of America. And he was caught, I think, in New Mexico heading towards Arizona. That was where he was going. And surface-to-air missile, that's how many political targets do you think you can grab that that plane going over? There's only probably two politicians in America right now that you can pinpoint out of the sky, and that would be Air Force One and Trump Force One.
Yeah.
And the president ain't in fucking New Mexico, but the former president has been. So in Arizona, so they're putting two and two together, and I think this was actually all back in September, but we're just hearing about it now. But then again, I'll repost the story when I come to it. But it just goes to show you how
Mike,
desperate they are.
we are in September.
Yeah, I think the beginning, it was July and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Going into September, June, July, August, September, they were listening in on all this stuff. But that and considering Iran has a hit out for Trump, an open hit for 20 million, do you really buy that, or do you think it's just propaganda, political propaganda to try to sway the public sense of security?
You're saying that they have a price on his head?
Yeah, well, during the first assassination attempt,
Right.
they came out the same day and said, ironically, we've intercepted chatter about Iran putting a hit out on the former president.
Right.
And some people say that was like, oh, they released this information right now so we can draw conspiracy, because when they don't give you all the information, or they give you just a little bit, what do? You make the story yourself, right? So
Right.
what am I supposed to think? If I'm dumb, I'm thinking, Iran's behind this. So yeah, man, what happens if they shoot him next time?
Yeah.
And we still think it's Iran. Now we're going to war with Iran,
Right.
when it could be the CIA.
Right.
Yeah,
So
and it's all our own. I don't buy it. It was our
No.
own government.
the first one,
Yeah.
I think the first one was serious
No, they allowed it.
They
to happen.
definitely allowed it to happen.
I don't.
What about
I'm
the
not-
guy at the golf course? We haven't met. I don't think we've
There's not
got
really
together
been-
since before that.
The information on that's just been.
Well, it's
secretive,
freaking weird,
very
man.
minimum.
Yeah.
Everything is weird about him. He was an operative. He went to Ukraine. He's recruited for Ukraine. He's a Hawaiian resident, but yet he's traveling across the country with some Chinese rifle. His son was just arrested a couple days ago for child pornography and some other charges related to like trafficking. But it just everything seems a little weird. You know, like these people that are doing it, they're not crazy right wing people. You know, they're crazy left wing transvestites are shooting up schools and stuff like that. It's like, you know, it's not what they make it out to be. And then they want to go after Trump for his language, but meanwhile they're still calling him a threat to democracy, and it's pretty reckless.
Yeah, I heard that he was getting a lot of slack for his response to his if he ever supposedly he said if he ever found out for sure that they put a hit on him, that he'll, you know, blow them off the map, basically, blow up their biggest cities, and, which probably wasn't the wisest thing to say, but
I mean, he's just being honest.
But you can understand where he's coming from. He's not. He's talking about the
read
people
between the lines.
Read between the lines. The people that are behind it are going to pay.
Yeah.
If he
Dale
found
or
that to be
Jim.
true.
Dale or Jim dropped by the comment section and wanted to say, "Hi, gentlemen. Just dropped by to say hello. Glad y'all made it through the storm." I'm not sure where Jim is, but I know Dale is up in the Panhandle somewhere. But I believe they were out of harm's way. I hope. Hopefully they didn't get hit with any of that flooding.
That's where you had some stuff to worry about. Here we didn't really have to worry about anything.
No, we had some tornado threats and some. I mean, it got pretty freaking windy last night.
Yeah, it got pretty windy last night.
It was probably worse last night than ever, but it was just wind, and it was out of the south, so we've got quite a bit of protection here where I'm at. I'm also quite a bit in. I'm on this side of the 95 corridor, so that has a lot. I'm not worried about flooding here, that's for sure. Well, rainfall flooding, but that's about it.
You're not going to get
Thanks for stopping
the ocean
by,
in your backyard.
Yeah.
You're not going to get the surge.
No. That's a good thing. Not here. I mean, there's definitely potential for flooding, especially if they're not on top of our drainage, because back here is all former farmland, so everything is set up on a canal system, and if they don't maintain those canals, stuff doesn't drain, you know, and it can't move back and forth. We get pretty backed up here, and it's especially with our roads here. Like there's a ditch separating one side from the other, and it's pretty vulnerable.
That's like where we like to go ride out at River Ranch. You can go there one time, and the thing's it's a river. It's flooded. You can go back a few days later, and you can tell they opened up the canal and let it drain.
Right.
You know, because you see feet go down, feet in water. They can move that stuff when and where they want to.
Oh yeah. Yeah. What else did I have? I had some. Oh, let me shut that off real quick. Let me. Yeah, I'm not used to this rumble, but I kind of like it. I'm just got to get used to it. We had an FAFO, but I think we're going to skip it this week. But make sure you follow Steve Inman, and he's on Twitter. Make sure you follow us on Twitter also. Check out our website at Indian River Connections. You can find our merch there, right? You can find our friends there, Binford Chronicles, TGI Now. If you're local, we do a small business spotlight section there also, but you can find our podcast episodes there, or our merch more importantly. So if you support us, check out the shirts. At least browse around the website. If you see a problem, shoot me a DM or something, you know. That's all I got, man. I don't really have much more for you guys tonight. You got anything else, Leo?
Oh, I think that's about it.
There's probably some big news that we're missing, and I'll think about it later, but
let it happen.
I mentioned Two Guys, One Coop. They're on the Patriot Prayer Network. Be sure to check them out on Rumble also. They're on Twitter. I think they've got a YouTube channel, but just make sure you follow them on Twitter. Make sure you follow them on Rumble. two guys, one Coup, and Eddie, and all the other podcasts on the network. They're good friends of ours, and hopefully we can do some work together here soon. But yeah, give them a follow. Let them know we sent you over there, and check out their channels. Also, check out TGI Now and Binford Chronicles. But other than that, you can find Leo on Instagram at LeonzoM06.
That's correct.
Okay, and you can find me on Twitter at tothepoint.com. That's DOTCOM, not .com. And Vince don't do nothing. But we're gonna get him set up though. Anyways, that's all I got, man.
Yeah.
Anything else? We're gonna miss it as soon as we sign off. We're gonna go.
Yeah,
Damn it, we were supposed to talk about that.
I know. That's all right though.
Nothing.
No.
Okay. Let's go out with this. All right.
Nos vemos.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
IRC Washing. We've got you covered. Houses and buildings, concrete and sidewalks, roofs and fences. Available for commercial and residential services. Call or text 772-584-7703 and visit ircwashing.com.
We'll do it live! Fuck it! Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live! Fucking thing sucks!